Are you stuck on side quests? So I was having this thought process the other day about, well, to be honest, goals, goal setting, achievement, and value of the work. So if you've ever played a video game, especially like open world role-playing games, you'll have these main missions that you need to undertake. These main goals and missions that need to be completed for you to progress the storyline of the video game. This is a bit like your life. We have these main things that, well, they're the pivotal moments. They're the things that actually matter. They're the choices and the decisions that will impact how the rest of the game of life plays out. And the better we do at them, the more dedicated we are to them, the faster we can push towards, well, the goals, the outcome, the finish line, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We get there much, much faster. And that's kind of the point. The point of life and, well, the video game is to finish the missions and finish the game, to complete the storyline, to unfold what is meant to transpire, right? But within that, there are side missions, side quests, collectibles, all these different options on things that you can do that are fun, that are enjoyable, that feel like progress, that, you know, if we're going to use the analogy of the game of life, that count towards the 100% completion rate. But in terms of actually finishing the game, in terms of actually progressing forward, don't mean anything other than ticking a box. And I don't know about you, but when I play role-player games and I play video games, oftentimes they're the things I enjoy more. I love completing those side missions. I loved completing all those things. I was, especially when I was younger, loved Grand Theft Auto, the original, the San Andreas. If you're, you know, millennial, which I don't like that category, but it's technically where I fall. You know, we'll call it a 90s baby. That's a better one. You'll know fucking San Andreas. You'll know how fucking amazing that game was and how everybody was obsessed with it. But I also loved Saints Row and later ones like Red Dead Redemption or Halo or, you know, any of those kinds of games. Gears of War was another one. Anyway, I would always do the side missions, oftentimes ignoring completely the main missions. And here is where things get skewy and how it makes you feel like, and as I said, I actually think this analogy applies to life perfectly, but it makes you feel like you're making progress, but you're just making progress for the sake of progress. You're not actually progressing the storyline. And I used to do all of the side missions, and by the time I'd get to the main mission, I'd be so leveled up that it would be easier. But the catch on that is that I'd spend hours upon hours upon hours, well, doing something that didn't actually progress me any further forward in the game. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, there was pleasure in doing those things. But if we look at it as the objective is to finish the game, it served no purpose other than to keep me distracted. And I think life is a lot like that in many, many ways. But especially when we talk about fitness and especially when we talk about setting goals. We set these goals and then we get sidetracked by, well, these little side missions and these little things that we want to do that aren't actually going to progress us forward, that aren't actually moving the needle towards, well, anything of value. And like in video games, in life, I am, hand up, I am a victim of that. I like the side missions. I have shiny object syndrome. I might as well be a fucking magpie. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, let's play that. Ooh, let's do that. But the more refined you can get on the goal, the more refined you can get on, here is where I'm going. this is the work that I'm doing. And I'm doing this work, and I'm doing this work, and I'm doing this work. The better your results will be. If we stop wasting energy and time and effort on these side things that don't actually move the needle, well, you'd get a hell of a lot more out of your time and effort. So much of the problem comes from that we feel busy. We fill our life with busy work. We fill our life with doing things, but, well, is it actually producing any value? Are you actually looking at what that is delivering for you? And let's use exercise as an example, because, you know, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna pitch you my 6-week fitness challenge at the end of this. But let's use that as the example, right? I know so many people who will get into an exercise program and they'll do it for 2, 4, 6, maybe they'll get really fucking crazy and they'll get 8 weeks in, and they'll be like, I'm bored. Let's do this now. Let's try this. Let's do that. But the true long-term results, the true progressions, the true results come from doing the same work over and over and over again. From showing up consistently. One of the hardest things I have in my gym is that people don't want to do the same workout every week. And it's the same with programming for my programs, that people are like, I don't want to repeat the same program. When honestly, a good, well-designed program doesn't have to be, but in a lot of cases will repeat the same workout essentially, not identically, but essentially for 12 to 16 weeks. To allow for progressive overload, to allow for you to get better, allowing you to keep progressing that movement and getting stronger and using one of the 4 mediums of improvement: shorter rest, bigger weights, higher volume, more intensity, more time under tension, basically. These are the areas that will continue to progress you forward. But if the workout is completely different every single week, you will get progress at a certain rate because, well, you're just doing stuff. And if you've gone from 0 to 100, well, you're going to get results because you haven't been doing anything. But past that, especially if we're talking muscle building and things like that, you aren't going to get the same bang for your buck because, well, you're not progressing it. You're just doing random shit in the gym. And if you keep looking for those side quests and those side missions, well, your results are going to be diminished. Whereas if you just knuckled down and focused, well, the results will come. It's one of the things I struggle with producing content like this, because I keep having discussion with friends and people going, well, you should share your workouts. You should share more of that and document just what you do. And I was like, I don't think anyone wants to see it. The reason being, I do the same shit week in, week out. Most of my days are identical. My life in terms of that is pretty fucking boring, but that's also what it takes to deliver results. I do the same shit. I get up at the same time, I go to work, I work out, I eat, I do a weighted walk, I spend time with my family, I go to work, I come home and do, computer work. It's my life. I think it's a great life. Like, I love my life and I wouldn't change it. Like, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I don't think it's that interesting to watch because, well, success and results come from the repetitive. It comes from the consistency of doing the same thing consistently for a long period of time, just over and over and over again. So I talk about it, that intensity plus consistency will change your world. But most people can't combine the two. Most people don't have what it takes to do both. They can find intensity for a short period of time, or they can find consistency with limited effort. No, you need to combine the both. And I discussed the other day the comfort trap that I fell into as well with that, I lost the higher end level of intensity on my workouts. I was just pushing. I was ticking the box. But that's the same as side questing. That, yeah, you're doing stuff, And that's great. And that's better than not doing anything. It's better than being stuck on the couch doing absolutely nothing. But it's also not getting you what you want. And I find, this is probably stretching the analogy a little bit far, but I find that people who spend too much time on side questing or program hopping or these kinds of things will quit. Because, well, at the end of the day, you're putting in effort and you're not getting the results. You're putting in all this time, effort, money, but you're not ending up where you want to be. So, within reason, I kind of get why you'd end up quitting. I'd get it. If you're putting in the time, the money, the effort, and not seeing the results that you want, well, what the fuck's the point at the end of it all? Like, what is the point of doing that if you're not going to get what you want out of it? Why would you continue? And there's two folds to that. It depends on the situation. Sometimes you just need to keep doing it because the work hasn't had long enough to deliver the results you want. But two, if you're not looking at it and analyzing it and seeing how it's going, well, how do you know if you're getting progress? How would you know? I had a guy years ago who was like, well, it's not really working. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And he's like, well, it's not. Nothing's changing. And I was like, you're a different human being to who you were. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, it hasn't really changed. And so we had to put up the side-by-side photos. We had to show him, this was you at the beginning, and this is you now. And he's like, no, that's not me. And I'm like, yes, it is. Like, it's very evidently you, mate. Like, you've got the same tattoos and shit. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize how much it changed. But if we're not actually analyzing the progress and seeing where things are progressing, it's the double-edged sword of doing too many side quests feels like progress and it's just busy work. But also focusing on just doing the work without looking at what the work is delivering means that you'll often won't notice how far you come and how much progress you have made. I had another client today and they were like, oh, my deadlifts aren't getting any better. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. And they're like, I'm just not getting stronger. And I was like, when you first started, we used a 6 kilo kettlebell. Today, you did 60 kilos plus bands for 5 reps, multiple sets. Pretty comfortably. That is a night and day fucking difference. I remember the first day we got you on a bar and you were stoked. So we also need to be aware of how we are progressing in the main mission. We need to keep an eye on, yeah, we are getting through the main mission. We are progressing towards the point of what we're doing. But if you're just focused on feeling busy and feeling like you're doing work, well, there are plenty of things that you can do to fill up your time of day with things that aren't actually going to get you anywhere, that aren't actually going to do anything for you, that aren't going to, well, move the needle towards where you want to be in this life. So you need to be cognizant of, well, doing shit that's going to matter. And that's a really, really hard thing. So you need to step back without emotions, without what feels good, what feels nice, what you enjoy doing, and look at it objectively and go, what do I need to do to reach my goal? Because so many people are just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. They keep having the same goal. Like, they get to the New Year's time and they'll be like, I want to lose, I don't know, 10 kilos, 15 kilos, 20 kilos. I'm going to do it this year. And then nothing changes. Now you need to actually analyze and look at it and go, what did I do? What did I not do? What do I actually need to do that's going to move the needle? What are the things that are really going to push me forward? And if you're not sure and you can't work out the answer, here's a really simple one for you. Click the link in my bio Join my Demanding Greatness 6-week fitness challenge, and I'll show you exactly. I will deliver on a platter, on a silver fucking platter, the tools that you need to transform your life. And then I will set the standard with you, and we will hold you accountable to that. We will make sure that it isn't all fucking talk. We will actually do the work that is required. We will ensure that you get the results you want. And look, maybe you'll be like some of the outliers, like one of my clients who lost 20 kilos in 6 weeks. 20 kilos in 6 weeks. Or even if you just do like the average ratio, which is 7 to 15 kilos. 14, 15. I have to actually work out the ratio on that. But around there in the 6 weeks. And then beyond that, imagine what happens when you commit for the next 12 months. When you actually go all fucking in on yourself. And you're like, this is who I'm going to be. That I'm going to do this work. Rain, hail, or shine. I'm going to get this shit done. I'm going to show up with intensity, and I'm going to show up with consistency. I'm not going to let those side quests distract me. I'm not going to get thrown off course by those little shiny objects. I'm going to go, these are the things that will move me forward. And I'll give them to you. I will flat out give them to you or show them to you. We'll line them up. We'll have accountability. We'll have trackers. You will need to make sure that you complete them every single day, that you are winning the fucking day, that this isn't hyperbolic, this isn't abstract, this is legit in the moment, doing the fucking work. Did I win the day? Black and white binary. Did I win the day? Yes, no. The answer is no. What am I going to do to fix it now, before I go to bed, so that I win the fucking day? That's what it looks like. Keep coming back to it. This isn't for, your soft cocks out there. This isn't for, if you want really gentle and kind and softness. No. This is, I'm going to give you the harsh fucking truth. I'm going to hold you to the standard. I'm going to show you what true love is, because love is holding you to the standard that you know that you should be at. And we are going to get this shit done. 0 questions asked. That shit is getting done. End of story. Period. Full stop. That is what's transpiring. That is what's going to happen. And if you do that, I can guarantee you, that the man in the mirror will look different at the end of the 6 weeks. And when you go all in for the 12 months, you won't even recognize who you are at the end of that. You'll look back and go, I can't believe I used to be that guy. That is what we are after. And that is how we're going to get there. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to finally set aside all the bullshit and actually step into the man that you know you should be, to finally get the results that you deserve, and to stop going on fucking side quests, now is your moment. Now is your moment. So click the link in my bio. Let's get you into Demanding Greatness, and let's make that a reality for you. Can't wait to see you there. Until then.